I never meant to kill her, but intentions are as fragile as spider webs, aren't they? One sharp tug and they unravel into something monstrous. I wasn't always this way, but once you've tasted the power of deciding who lives and who dies, there's no going back. Tonight, I'll tell you how it started, how she started it all. Her name was Clara. Clara with the honeyed voice and the porcelain smile. Clara who turned every head in the room, mine included. I used to watch her from afar, lurking in the shadows of the coffee shop where she worked, sipping my black coffee like a devoted disciple. She had this laugh, light and airy, like wind chimes in the breeze. It haunted me, echoing in my skull long after I'd left. It wasn't obsession at first, it was admiration. Admiration is harmless, isn't it? But admiration, when left unchecked, metastasizes into something darker. I began memorizing her schedule, noting when she arrived, when she left, which streets she took home. I told myself it wasn't stalking, just curiosity, but curiosity is a gateway drug. The night it happened was cold and moonless, a perfect black canvas. She had stayed late at the shop, cleaning up after hours. I waited across the street, pretending to scroll through my phone, though my eyes never left her silhouette in the window. When the lights went out, my pulse quickened. She stepped outside, her breath forming soft white clouds, and I followed. She must have felt it, that prickling on the back of the neck, that primal alarm bell buried deep in our DNA. She quickened her pace, and so did I. Her heels clicked faster against the pavement, echoing like gunshots in the silent street. "Who's there?" she called out, her voice trembling. I froze. The fear in her tone sent a shiver down my spine, not of guilt, but exhilaration. I could end this now. Turn around, disappear into the shadows. But something inside me, some dark coiled thing pushed me forward. She broke into a run. I followed, my own footsteps heavy and relentless. She turned down an alley. Poor Clara, didn't she know alleys are death traps? By the time she realized her mistake, I was already there, blocking the exit. "Please," she whispered, backing against the brick wall. Her eyes glistened, wide and pleading. She looked at me as if I were a beast, and maybe she was right. "Take my purse, my phone, anything you want. Anything I want." The words buzzed in my head like an electric current. What did I want? Not her money, not her phone. I wanted the light in her eyes, that flickering flame of life that would be extinguished by my hands alone. "I don't want your things," I said, stepping closer. "I just want to talk." Her face crumpled in confusion, then terror. "Please, just let me go." "No one ever lets me go," I replied, and before I could stop myself, my hand shot out. I gripped her throat, not hard enough to choke, just to silence. The warmth of her skin under my palm was intoxicating. She fought, clawing at my arm, kicking wildly. But adrenaline is a potent drug. Her struggles only fueled me. My other hand found the knife in my pocket, a small, unassuming thing, but sharp enough to do the job. The first cut was clumsy, a shallow gash across her ribs. She screamed, the sound muffled by my grip, and I felt her panic pulse against my hand. It wasn't clean. Murder never is. She didn't die instantly as they do in movies. She thrashed and bled and sobbed, her life spilling out in warm, sticky waves that soaked my clothes. By the time she went limp, I was panting, trembling, not with fear but with euphoria. I stared at her lifeless body, the knife still in my hand. For a moment I felt regret? No, not regret. Regret implies guilt. This was something else, a pang of emptiness, like the hollow silence after a symphony ends. The deed was done, and I was left alone with the aftermath. I dragged her into the shadows, out of sight. Blood smeared the ground like a trail of breadcrumbs, but I didn't care. The streets were empty, no one had seen. I wiped the knife on her coat and slipped it back into my pocket. My hands were trembling, my breath shallow, but I felt alive, more alive than I'd ever felt before. I don't know why I'm telling you this. Maybe it's because I want you to understand. Killing isn't about hate, not always. Sometimes it's about control, about taking something that doesn't belong to you just because you can. But here's the thing about murder. It doesn't end with the act. The body might be dead, but the memory of it festers. Clara lingers in my mind, a ghost of my own making. Her laugh, her fear-stricken eyes, the way her blood felt on my hands, I can't escape it. Sometimes I hear her voice in the middle of the night, whispering my name. I didn't keep any souvenirs. I'm not a monster, but I remember everything. Every detail, every sensation, the way the knife felt in my hand, the way her life slipped away like sand through my fingers. I thought it would get easier, but it hasn't. Each kill leaves a scar, a mark on my soul that can't be erased. Do you think I'm evil? Maybe I am. But aren't we all, in some way? We wear our masks, play our parts, pretend to be good, but beneath it all, we're just animals driven by instinct and desire. I've embraced that truth. Have you? I've told you my story. Now it's your turn to tell me yours. You've been listening so patiently, sitting there across the table, your hands folded neatly in your lap. I can see the fear in your eyes, the way your chest rises and falls with each shaky breath. Don't worry. I'm not going to hurt you. Not tonight. Tonight, I just wanted to talk. But someday, maybe someday soon, we'll meet again. And when we do, you'll understand what it means to be truly alive. Until then, sleep well and lock your doors. End.